Alright, so I want to get into the school shootings. Alright. So I left off on the school shootings, so I might as well start with the school shootings. No matter what you do to prevent things from happening, sometimes it's not in the cards for you to actually be able to prevent things from happening, but we have to try. We can't do nothing. We can't turn our eyes to it. We can't like blink and just say, okay, well, I didn't see that coming. And most of us don't see it coming. No one looks at their kid and say, are you a school bully? And if you do, you don't honestly expect your kid to sit there and look you dead in the face and say, yeah, Dad, I'm going to school to pick on some small ass kid today. He's the smallest kid in the room. He wears glasses. He smells funny. I'm going to go fuck with him all day. I have him in 5 classes. Now, the school faculty, the school board, and the teachers pretty much don't give a shit. And if they do give a shit, it really depends on their location and the type of school that you're in. In most public schools, I was bullied. Teachers were afraid of the bullies. They really didn't do much. They didn't stop you from defending yourself. But as far as standing up and making this shit stop, that clearly was not a fucking option. And like I said, in the 11th grade, I took my nunchucks to Charlottesville High School because I got done with being bullied. I got done with it. I reached the boiling point. I was like, you know what? These guys have been picking on me. Now, they never physically harmed me, but they drove me to the point of where I needed to harm them. I don't take threats very well because of this shit. When people threaten me, I take that shit exceptionally serious. I'm not talking about some, I'm gonna beat your ass and beat your ass every day. Did you come to school? So that I don't come to school because legally you're gonna go to school until you're 18. If you skip enough times, they will send the patrol officers out to find your ass, and you will have to go to school. Your parents will have to go to jail. And who wants to be responsible for sending their parents to jail because you're scared to go to fuck to school? You understand? So I put it to you like this: we need to monitor our children. We need to teach them right from wrong. We need to teach them, going to school and bullying kids is not fucking cool. There ain't a damn thing cool about being a bully. But why do kids bully other kids? I don't want to hear that shit about boys will be boys. I don't want to hear that shit about girls being girls. Because yes, girls bully people too. I did not know that until I was a victim of a bully from a girl in the 12th grade. And the only reason why I didn't punch her in the mouth was because she has boobs. And I was raised not to hit girls. Now, sisters and cousins that are female do not count. They're still girls, but in my family, they just as tough, if not tougher, than us boys. So sometimes you just gotta level the playing field a little bit. Luckily for me, I've been blessed to never really have to fight anyone outside of my big sister, who beat my ass out 15. So therefore, there's some tough ass girls in my family. But my mom never had to worry about us going to school and doing something stupid. My mom does not have guns. No. Some of the men she dated had guns. Some of my uncles and them have guns. I had access to guns. But I looked at myself in the mirror, and ladies, please don't take this the wrong way. Unless you're Jack from Mass Effect 2. I looked at myself in the mirror and said to myself that if I take a gun to school, I must be a pussy. And I just kept taking it and taking it. And I was really remembered, I was like, hold on, why am I doing this? I know Kung Fu. I know Kung Fu. I've been fighting in the streets since I was 6 fucking years old. I can take these guys. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I can take at least 2 of these guys. But when I got to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore, I didn't want to fight them. I wanted to destroy them. That didn't work out. I thank God that it didn't work out. I don't thank God for the referral that I got. I don't thank God for having to go through the hoops of not being in trouble. But I do thank God that I had enough consciousness to not kill these guys. I also thank God that they were much faster runners than they looked. Their jocks are in great shape when you pull out some nunchucks. Now the problem was, I never pulled them out. I showed them, and then I zipped up the bag, and I threw the bag in the hallway because I reached, fuck it. I wanted to enjoy the battle. Now I know you guys are thinking, what's the relevance of this story, James? The relevance of this story is simple. The young man who got rejected by girls wasn't told no a lot in his life, apparently, because maybe he was cute to every girl he ever met until he met her. And those things do happen. I have been rejected by many, many many, I say many, extremely hot and not so hot, and even not so hot girls. Even some plain Janes wouldn't give me a second look. To girls, I was just ugly as fuck. Or they didn't want to be seen with me because I wasn't a jock. It was nothing special about me. Most people didn't even know I knew Kung Fu. And most girls, again, were taller than me and didn't want a short boyfriend. And like I said, most girls just considered me butt fucking ugly. And I still believe that they probably think I'm butt fucking ugly to this day. However, when I burnt off my face, I learned how not bad being ugly can be. Okay, so if I'm ugly, so fucking be it. I got all this back. I say that because back in '06, I literally burnt my face off. Well, as much of it as first degree burns will allow. And, you know, the thing with that is that this here would have been so much worse for me in high school. Now we don't tend to think about shit that we set in motion. Not really. We don't tend to think about what we say to people. We don't tend to think about our actions and the consequences that come with it. And the reason that is really quite simple. My generation was raised that if you didn't listen to your parents and you didn't do what you were told, there was this thing called a belt, and my mom never had a problem using the son bitch. No. However, as time has gone on, people tend to forgot what the hell discipline is. They forgot how to use discipline. They forgot why we discipline our children. We discipline our children for the simple fact that we want to teach them to be productive people in society so that they don't have someone that fucks up their life or they don't fuck up someone else's life. And a lot of people aren't raising their kids to be productive people in society. A lot of us are raising our kids to be sports players, but not good sports. A lot of people are raising our kids to be geniuses, but not decent human beings. And this is where it starts. Your home life and your school life will never be the same. Most people have two different personalities. You have your home personality and you have your school personality. And your home personality is probably your true personality, but your school personality is your culpable personality. And that means it helps you cope with the shit that's going on around you. I was one of those isolated freaks that no one gave a shit about. I took my comics to school because they were the only friends, the only security blanket I had until they were stolen. I never took my toys to school, not even in grade school, except for like one time. And then that toy I never got back. So I never took any more toys to school. Then, you know, I will say I haven't really grown out of toys. I still love toys to this day. But, you know, the whole concept of we need to teach our children how to hear the word no and accept it as being the final straw on something. And until we can do that, we're going to have these problems. We thought that when the Florida shooting happened, it would be done. There was a movement. People moved over to D.C., raised hell, and did a good job. Some laws on Florida's changed. Some things happened. Good things. Great things. And as a person from Charlottesville, with our little incident with a dude plowing through people, we thought that things were starting to move a little bit forward with violence against people of color and school shootings. Because we haven't had one in Charlottesville, thank God. But we can't say that it can't happen. And that's the one thing that everybody in America needs to realize. It has happened. And just because it hasn't happened in your area yet does not mean that it won't. And we aren't prepared for that. A lot of people still live in their right, rich world and believe all-heartedly that my kid would never do that, or it'll never happen here. The two things you can never say, because those things do happen. Those things can happen, and those things more than likely probably will happen if we're not careful. But again, when we don't concentrate or when we don't think that it can happen, is exactly when it happens. We take preventive measures. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. School shootings is not something new to me. When Columbine happened, I was just starting college. You know, before Columbine happened, Leonardo DiCaprio made some movies about, at least one movie, I can't remember the name of the damn thing, about some kid shooting up a school. Now, they tried to link that to the Columbine thing, which was like really fucked up, but, you know, it's the same thing that people talk about, well, um, violence in video games leads to school shootings and shit like that. I'm gonna tell you, as an avid video game player, I would say I was a gamer, but since I'm not getting paid to be playing games, then I'm clearly not a gamer. Although that would be great, I have no idea how to become one, so fuck it and yay Mass Effect Andromeda. Anyway, as a person who plays video games, my video games have never made me want to go out and throw a bouncing Betty at someone. It has never made me go out and want to take over an airport. It never made me want to go and do anything out of my ordinary life. You know, most of the games I play are RPGs. I have one character, it's in third person, and I wander through the video game world trying to solve problems. In Mass Effect, the original trilogy, I was trying to save the world. I was trying to save us all from annihilation. In Mass Effect Andromeda, I was exploring and trying to save the world from annihilation, from a whole different enemy. But, you know, I would like to make a special video about that later tonight. About things that they can improve or not improve, rather, for Mass Effect as I ponder through a mission. But the thing with these things, you know, we don't tend to look for examples of how to stop it. We just only start placing blame. When the guy who shot at the school, when we found out why, the first thing we did was, well, the girl said no. I'm sorry to that young man. I'm more sorry to the young lady who lost her life, but no is not a reason to shoot someone. We have to raise our sons and our daughters to be a little bit more respectful, to be a little bit more understanding, to have empathy and understand that when someone says no, the door is not closed, it's just temporarily got a crack in it. You may be able to win that person's heart, and you may not. But if you're not able to win that person's heart, it does not give you the right to go and try to take that person's life. And clearly, this young man did not have the discipline or the mental structure to comprehend that. And some of us don't fire off on all cylinders. I'm pretty sure I don't fire off on all cylinders, but I'm a common sense genius. But we as people, we have to understand that, you know, if you raise your child right, you have a better chance of your child not coming out as a school shooter or a terrorist or stuff like that. And we don't tend to look for that stuff. We just go on about our lives. How many times have you, I don't have kids, so this doesn't count for me. How many times have you, that people watching right now, any of my 37 followers, how many of you have sat down with your child and said, what have you done today? What are you watching? What has anyone done to you today? Has anyone got you upset? Have you been school bullied? Has the teachers noticed that you are being bullied? If we're not asking the questions, they're not going to answer the questions. And if they're not answering the questions, there's only two reasons for it. All right? One, a child is very susceptible how a parent is going to react and treat them. So if your kid says, yes, I was school bullied, don't be mad at them for not defending themselves. Embrace them and tell them, it's okay. We're going to work on this problem, but we're going to do it together. I'm not going to pressure my kid to fight a kid unless he has no choice, or she. Because a lot of kids are ashamed to tell their parents they're being bullied. A lot of kids are ashamed to tell their parents they're actually doing the bullying. And the scripts can always flip. I don't have children. And if I had children, and if my children were bullying my bully's children, I really wouldn't feel that there's a sense of gratification. Maybe karma, but not a sense of gratification because, you know, My bullies are not their kids. But I would hope that if I had kids, I would raise them well enough to not bully the kids of my bullies. You understand what I'm trying to get at there? Well, I hope that you do. I'm gonna go from this video on to the NFL thing. Alright? Because the school shooting thing is a very sensitive subject, and we really gotta dig into the guts of home lives. We gotta dig into the guts of school life. We gotta dig into the guts of why these people aren't being told right from wrong. And that everyone you meet has an essential right to say yes for consent and no for non-consent. And then that doesn't just include like sexual things. That includes everything. If I don't want to go somewhere and I say no, you need to let it go. You need to stop trying to tell me, okay, well, you're going to go to this place and that place. No, I'm not, because I don't want to. We need to talk to our kids about peer pressure. We need to talk to our kids about peer pressure and sex, peer pressure and drugs, peer pressure and everything. Now, I will say this, and I'm going to piss off a couple of Asians, so I'm sorry. We need to talk to our kids about the peer pressure that they put on themselves for being overachievers. If you're going to dream, hell yeah, dream big. But don't put so much stress on yourself that your fucking head explodes. Okay? I have a lot of Asian friends. A lot of them were peer pressured and parent pressured to excel beyond their capacity of acceleration. Because if you have good grades, you can get into a good school. If you get into a good school and a good scholarship, you can have a good career so that your parents don't have to worry about you. I don't see nothing wrong with that. But I also understand it as the person with that pressure on you. That's a lot of pressure. You can ask a lot of Asian people, and depending on what Asian country they're from, a lot of their parents do this. And so we have to teach them to not do that, because that leads your kid down a dark path. You have to let your kid achieve their maximum potential. But you don't have to hold their fucking feet to the fire to make sure that they stay doing that. Your kid's listening. Trust me. Might not be doing everything you say, but they are listening. But we as adults have to make sure that we steer their course, but let them take the wheel when they want to do something better, or something that makes them happy, rather. I'm James Williams Jr. Get ready for part 3.